Okay, welcome to Mr. Reed's World History class. Today we're going to be looking at the French Revolution. Actually, it's chapter 20, section 1. It's a very exciting time in world history. I think you're going to find this a very interesting chapter. Okay, so causes of this really bloody, messy revolution. There's inequities in society. This is what they refer to as the Old Order. Okay, King Louis XVI and Queen Mary Antoinette at the top of society, living very extravagantly, and then you've got the First Estate, which is the Roman Catholic clergy. Okay, this is 1% of the population, and they're controlling most of the wealth in a time where there wasn't a whole lot to go around. People are going hungry, and these guys are living high on the hog, as that expression goes. Didn't pay taxes or have to follow the laws. So these people are above everything. Okay, this First Estate, they can basically do whatever they want. 10% of the land. Oh, there's a great announcement. And there we go. Okay, great announcement there. Back to where we're at. Own 10% of the land. Okay. The Second Estate, the nobility, okay, this is your government and your military. They're the other 2% of the population, controlled most of the wealth, but paid few taxes. So here you go. You've got this top 3% at the top of this pyramid, and they basically control all of the wealth. Not a very fair system in the best of times. And this inequity in society, the Third Estate, this is your common people. 97% of the population. Very poor, but paid high taxes and rent rates. Okay, this is what allowed that 3% to live very well, even in bad times. And there's multiple levels of this. You had your city dwellers, your factory owners, your professionals like lawyers. And then you had your workers and artisans. And then at the very bottom, your peasants who farmed the nobles' lands. Okay, Louis XVI, Mary Antoinette. There's a photo or a painting of them. And you've got your French political cartoon, the common man struggling under the ruling elites. Okay? And a very common theme during that revolution. They used those political cartoons to kind of enrage the public. Causes. Enlightenment ideas of equality and limited government. You have people saying, wait a minute, why do we have to live this way? This isn't fair. Why do they get to live so extravagantly? So people are questioning the order of things at this time. Things that had just been accepted. Now they're saying, wait a minute, why should these guys get everything while we're living here and we're eating dirt? Why are they having these extravagant dinners and doing all these extravagant things? Not very fair. Okay? Restricted powers of England's monarchy. So there you go. You start to get a beginning. England's monarchy is restricted. Okay. Successful rebellion of the American colonies. These things are adding up, and the French are going, wait a minute. They know these things are happening. Remember, there's the printing press. Information is being spread around. They're getting an idea of what's going on in the world. And they're saying, whoa, wait. Maybe we need some of this. Okay. And then comes that financial crisis. And this is where things really start to get bad. Deep debt from the American Revolution. Remember, the French helped us out, which caused them some financial woes. Lavish living by royalty. The royalties spent very freely, and this enraged the population. And they didn't do anything to hide it. They didn't do anything to hide the fact that they were living really extravagantly while the population was suffering. The people they were ruling were suffering. Natural disasters destroyed food crops. First event of the revolution, meeting of the Estates General, spring 1789. Assembly of all three estates together. First meeting in 175 years. Okay, each estate got only one vote, so Third Estate left and created the National Assembly to write a new French constitution, forced Louis to change voting rules to favor the Third Estate. Okay, because it basically used this mass mob saying, wait a minute, we only get one vote. That's not going to happen. There's way more of us than you. And they see that in this assembly. You know, they can physically see that, hey, wait a minute, we're the ones that really have power here. We outnumber these people. We're 97%. We don't have to take this anymore. They stormed the Bastilles, which, again, this is the day my wife and I got married on Bastille's Day. This is the day they stormed the Bastille prison, which was really hated. This place is where they put the political prisoners. Okay. Louis began soldiers in the city to put down any potential rebellion. National Assembly feared he was going to stop their meetings. People went to medieval prison to take weapons for protection. It resulted in the guards shooting people and then killing all the guards and the prison commander. The great fear, people were afraid of the punishment for the Bastille, causing paranoia and some violence in the countryside. So people said, oh boy, what are we going to do? And, you know, they start getting really paranoid. They expect to be crushed. They hadn't quite figured out that power balance yet. Okay, then they go into creating a new nation. A monarchy collapses and the National Assembly began running the country. Privileges of the first estate and fees owned to the nobility were eliminated. Created the Declaration of Rights of Man and of the Citizen. We're going to take a look at that later. Inspired by Enlightenment philosophers, the American Constitution, the English Bill of Rights, and reflected their ideals. So the French had kind of like some building blocks for this revolution. However, what we're going to see is the French Revolution becomes very, very bloody in comparison to our own revolution and the changes that happened in Britain. Laid out basic principles of the revolution. This is all the things they were putting together. Okay. Did not extend rights to women. This was definitely a disappointment. And once again, we see this time and time again when these revolutions start and they come about. You know, women think they're going to get the vote, they're getting rights, they're part of the movement, and then when things settle out, they're kind of left behind. And this happens in our own American history too, which we'll study later. Okay. Louis sent troops to Paris to restore order. Any angry mob marched in his place and captured him and his wife. Church's lands were taken and sold to pay for France's debt and take power from the First Estate. So they're really they're taking control. They're punishing the royalty and kind of trying to redistribute wealth. 1791 Constitution is finished. Country run by a legislative assembly, which sounds like a good thing. Still a monarchy, but king had very limited power. King and queen tried to sneak out of the country, but were caught and returned to Paris. So all these things sound good, but we're going to see that legislative assembly ends up becoming subject to mob rule, and we'll talk about that later. Okay. Creating a new nation, Prussia, Germany, and Austria threatened war to protect the king and queen. This upset the natural order in Europe. So there was a lot of issues with this, because there were still royal families, and they're going, whoa, wait a minute. We can't have peasants doing this stuff. This isn't okay. France declared war in defense and was defeated, causing people to turn to radical action. Mob attacked Louis' home, killed the guards, and threw him and his family in prison. Legislative Assembly voted itself out of existence and gave power to the National Convention, which is run by radicals. And here we go. That's when it gets crazy. National Convention eliminated the monarchy and made France a republic. So these are kind of reactions. They're going, oh boy, we lost this war. The other countries are going to be coming to get us. We better put things in order, otherwise we're going to be put back under royal rule. And that is where we'll close today. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, we talked about this in class today, or we will be talking about this in class later today, since this is before class starts. But you're going to be able to go back and view these notes, and hopefully you did. All right, have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.